everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to take you through a tutorial of Spring from Vivaldi's The Four Seasons. So this is Spring La Primavera #1. This is Allegro. I'm going to be taking you through a tutorial for that. Okay, so first things first, I've done a performance video of this in my usual style that I do on my performance channel. I will insert that video now so you can hear me play it before we go into the tutorial, and then once that is done, I'll go into the tutorial. So here is the performance and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so getting right into the tutorial. Before I go any further, I think I'll have on the screen coming up somewhere the exact time of the bit in this tutorial that most of you are going to be interested in playing. There's one specific part in this that every violinist knows about and everybody is most interested about, and probably the main kind of the pièce de résistance of the whole tutorial that you guys probably want to know how to play. So if you want to go and watch that bit first, because it is the most exciting, let's face it, and you guys all know the part I'm talking about, Go and watch that bit first, get that out of your system, and then you can come back and then we'll do the rest of the tutorial. Okay, but starting from the beginning though, so what I've done is scanned in my copy of this music with the fingering. So this music it's in the public domain, so you can get this music anywhere, even if you might have a copy of your own copy anyway, you can transfer the finger numbers in on here, but I've scanned in my own copy just to save a lot of time and effort. So I will assume that you guys have downloaded that music. It'll be underneath this post on Patreon. I'll assume you've downloaded and you are looking at my copy of my copy with the fingering. So if I'm talking about the fingering, it's already written in, and I'll assume that we're on the same page with that. Okay, so starting from the beginning anyway. Okay, so there's nothing interesting going on for this part, but what I would say is that be very short with your bow. So I am assuming that since you guys are watching this tutorial and are interested in this tutorial, you obviously have some experience in playing the violin. So I would just play it short. Instead of... That's not going to cut it. You've got to play it shorter. So start with an up bow because we've got an anacrusis. So I'm kind of roughly staying in the middle of the bow and just kind of stopping the bow on those quaver notes or those eighth notes. So that sounds a little bit messy, but that's only just because I've slowed it down quite a bit. So that's generally speaking the flavour of the whole thing of this. So you need to kind of keep this is very light, it's spring, it's very light, it's very airy, it's a little bit kind of like fluffing up eggs, you know, when you're trying to create kind of those fluffy sort of egg whites. Just think of it as like that. So that's the reason why you need to play it with quite short bows, probably somewhere around the middle of the bow rather than... This is not a piece for using a full amount of bow. Okay, moving on to 5, 6, 7. So you're going into second position there, as you can see, where I've got 3 on that B. You can't do it in first, because then you end up, you haven't got enough fingers for that C. So move it into second position and you can follow all the fingerings there. Okay, so when you do the trill, so you trill on the F, so you've got your first finger on the F and it's just F, G, F, G, F, G, F, G, 1, 2, 1, 2. We always trill with the note above. Now, how many of those trills you get in depends on how many beats you're going to be trilling for. So there's quite a lot of trills in this piece actually. Trills can be quite difficult if you're not used to doing them, because you've got to just basically... move your finger in rapid succession if you're not used to doing that, and your finger's going to be... You're going to be doing this, but you know, it's just practice them and just work on them. Even if you can do it, even if you can only do a little, just a little something, it doesn't really matter. So you just trill as long as you are on that note 4. Okay, moving on, the next bit is just the same. So those little kind of wiggly lines there, like those sideways kind of W's, or they look like W's, they're called mordants. They are the note itself, which is a B, the note above it, which is a C sharp, and the note itself, which is a B. That is a mordant. Note itself, note above, note itself. So you just keep doing them, and then when you get to 15, so you just light bows up. So what I do is I don't lift the bow off, because then every time I do put that note down, you'll get that harsh attack of a sound. So keep the bow on the string. I'm very, very light of hand with the bow, and I'm almost just kind of keeping the bow on and just very lightly pushing the bow up, stop, push the bow up, stop, push the bow up, stop, push the bow up, stop. So that's all you need to do there. The same thing goes with the next bit. Oh, wrong note. Okay, so that trill there on 23 is right up here in the rafters on the A string. So if you've just done those, so you've got a fourth finger for those E's there, and then the octave E underneath it for the trill. Then that takes you to that bit, so you're already in that same position there, so don't move anything. So when you've got that finger one for the B, you can stay exactly where you are. Now when you're doing that trill for the G, which you'd normally want to do in second finger on the E string in first position, you're never gonna, you can't do that, it's too much of a slide. So you're there. Now when cross the second finger over onto the A string and then move it up a notch. So when you're trying to work out where these kinds of notes are, what it's best to do is kind of have some kind of system going on in your head. So for me, that would be something like, I know the B that I've just been doing there. B, E, B, C, B, E, B. So I've just been doing that little bit there. And then I know that G is where I put the third finger down. So if I stayed in that position and I naturally just dropped my third finger over onto the A string, that is going to give me the G that I want. Only I need to play it with the second finger. So what I'll kind of do is just clock where that third finger has to go, and then I'll just slide, that's the amount of room I need to slide my second finger up. In other words, my second finger just naturally plops over onto the A string and probably gives me an F sharp, and then I know that I just need to sort of move it a finger's gap. So E, that's how much I need to move it, and that's roughly where it's going to be. Hang on, just lost where we are. So that's not enough, but that's where my second finger wants to go. That's where my second finger needs to go. And then you're up there, ready for those trills on the E, because you can't trill. You can't trill with 3 and 4, I guess. I just about can, but it's not as confident as. It's not as confident as using a second and a third finger, or even a first and a second finger. Avoid at all costs trilling on 3 and 4, because it can just be a little bit, you know, your little finger or your pinky can kind of have a mind of its own. It's just it's a weak part of the hand, and especially being all the way up there as well, it's not really advisable to do. Okay, so then we're back at tutti at 24, 25, 27. In second position like we were at the beginning. So you can use that open E to move yourself into third position. Ready to do that bit there, and that is pretty well self-explanatory. I've got some fingerings in there, nothing really else exciting to say. So when you get down to the bottom line, now what I would do, because you're going to be doing a solo with this, is you can cut some of those short, because you've got the chamber orchestra behind you. So not everybody is going to be doing those runs. I think you've got a lot of the orchestra that are just going to be scrubbing still. So that is going to kind of get you out of that. So there's no way that you're going to go and cleanly get over all of those strings. So I guess I play 1, 2, 3, stop, scale, run, 1, 2, 3, stop, and then I do the solo. So 1, 2, 3, stop, scale, run, 1, 2, 3, stop. So I don't play anything on the 4th beat of those bars where you're scrubbing. You can pretty much almost ignore how many notes you've got in there. You can't do them, it's so fast, so you can just... So pretty much if you're scrubbing in time, you're probably going to get that right anyway, but you know, don't try and look at that and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just sort of scrub away at those B's for the entire duration of that bar. Okay, and now we come to the most exciting part, the solo. Okay, so you've got to get up to that B first of all with the first finger. So once you hit that B, so this is the same pattern all the way through, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3. I've put in the pattern to start with, and then the rest of it just goes up and then it just works itself back down again. So, and they're in triplets as well. So da 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 da, 1, 2, 3. You have to notice is where you're going to be putting those 3rd fingers. So the 1s and the 4s stay the same. So that 3rd finger, we're talking about the 2nd block now. The 3rd finger is stretched. Now it's not. So you're going to have to remember whether your 3rd fingers are stretched, whether your 2nd fingers, you know, where they go and everything. So the 1s will stay the same and the 4s will stay the same. It's the 3s that change. So now we start the descent. So with that one, you're doing the same fingering as you did on the way up, but you're just moving, everything is just moving down. 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. Then you just move down a little notch, do the same thing again. And again, as I said before, it's just working out where those 3rd fingers are going to be going so that you know whether they're going to be stretched or not. It really is just a case of practice, and I would say really slow practice. Don't kind of go in there. The whole thing will just end up in a complete mess. I think you also need to sort of stay quite near the point of the bow. If you notice I'm not near the heel of the bow. You can't do that because it's going to end up like that. You need to be right down at the point of the bow. And it's just kind of a almost like you're stirring a bowl kind of motion. It's a very, I know you can't see my hand down here, but you can see that I'm not moving it very much. And that's all the movement it is, and it's a very small movement. Okay, anyway, so moving on. I don't think there's anything difficult going on there, just when you get to the trills. Keep the bowing short there. Moving on to the solo at what, 770? So practice that, because your fingers can very easily turn into a muddle. work it. So with this kind of thing, slow practice is the key, not fast practice. The slower you play it, the more often you play it slower, the better you will get results, rather than trying to get to the end result very quickly. Just think of it as the tortoise and the hare for you, those of you guys who know that fable, you know who won in the end. Okay, moving on. Well, actually, that's pretty much it. So just make sure you're in second position at the end there with the fingering. So there we go. Thank you very much. I hope you found this useful. I know it is more of an advanced tutorial and I know it is very difficult, but I really just wanted to kind of go through and address all those parts that I know for a fact you guys are going to find tricky. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully soon I will see you in another one of these more advanced tutorials. Bye.